The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to another no ifs, and or buts. That's hard as hell to say. No ifs, ands, or buts.
It's hard.
No ifs, ands, or buts. We say buts because, of course, it is Matt's butts. He is an attorney. He does it all. He joins us every single week right here on Tony Kurre Radio. Let me just slow down a little bit. Just take it all in.
Okay.
I get a little excited when you come on. How you doing, my friend? What's going on?
Oh man, same old, just working hard and getting after it.
Typically, how many cases do you work on at one time?
Oh grief. Right now we've got upwards of 50.
Do you really?
And that's just retained cases. That doesn't include my public defender stuff.
Wow.
Or some of the other stuff that I do. So yeah, it's a lot.
That's impressive. Well, if you want the best, you get the best. 948-4958, 948-4958, mbutslaw.net. We're going to get into ways to protect yourself today. You're about ready to go through a divorce, or you're going through, maybe she just told you she wants to leave you, or things aren't working out, or maybe you've been seeing the red flags, and different ways you can protect your personal information. And we're going to start with the cell phone. Before we do that, though, we have a bunch of email questions here, which is great. We've only done one show, and we already got some email questions, which is good. info@TonyKurreRadio.net, info@TonyKurreRadio.net. I want to go to Chan real quick. Chan wants to know, do divorce attorneys charge for every phone call? This is, this is not, and I wanted to throw this up because I think, so if I have a divorce attorney and I'm calling you and you answer the phone, am I getting charged for that?
Most of the time, yes. And the way that a lot of us bill, everybody does it a little differently. The way I bill is that I bill in tenths of an hour, so that's 6 minutes. So a 0.1 of an hour would generally be a 6 minute or less phone call. So yeah, we do have to bill for that.
Wow,
I don't bill for all of them. I've been told I probably should. I don't. But a lot of them I kind of have to because, that is part of the work.
And do you think that people know that going in? Because I can tell you right now, I know of someone that absolutely wore their lawyer out when they were going through the divorce. Night and day the phone was ringing, and I'm thinking to myself, you better chill out because it's costing you. No, it's not costing me anything. I'm like, the heck it's not.
No, it is. And I've had to put up some boundaries. Like I said, we've got upwards of 50 cases right now. I don't necessarily give out my cell phone number. I try to cut it off. However, I'm always available via email. I'm always checking my email, and my clients know the code to put in the subject line to get a phone call immediately. Because lots of times these things going on into the night are not legal problems.
Yeah.
They're more emotional problems. Sometimes there's a legal issue going on, and email is the best way to sort that out. But yeah, it's we got families.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You live your own life. Having gone through that process, I can't tell you how many times people will see their mate doing something, and they're like, "Oh, I got to call my lawyer right away. I got to call my lawyer right away." You're not going to believe what she just did. And you're like, dude, write it down, keep track of it. Have a log, write everything down, write down what's going on, what she just did, and we'll talk about it later. But as of right now, it's like you want to hit it while it's fresh, but at the same time, it's like if we end up going to the court, it'll all come out, but just write it down so we have a document. Exactly.
Sorry, I think it cut out for just a second.
Yeah.
But you got to think too, if I'm in the middle of something else that is an emergency situation concerning the safety of a person or a child or something like that, the fact that you saw him with his girlfriend at the Mexican restaurant is not going to take precedence there. It can't.
Yeah.
I care. I want to know, but I need this information more streamlined than just pick up every time you see something. That's not great.
All right. Mike in Northport said that I am the breadwinner. And I am the one that carries the checkbook, and I've been told that I need to cut her off. Can you explain what exactly that means? So say I'm in a relationship where I control all the money situations. I control all of it. What's the number one rule? And I understand, and I heard that too. The first thing it says, cut her off. Don't give her any financial means because you obviously don't want to give her the upper hand. But I did have some things that I was doing before we broke up. For example, I was giving her an allowance She hated when I called it an allowance. That's why I call it an allowance. But yeah. So do you want to keep those things normal, or what do you do? Because obviously, if you're going through a divorce proceeding, she's going to need representation too, or he's going to need representation based on who's got the pocketbook.
That's right. I will say that backfires a lot. Because the court is going to expect you to maintain status quo. Basically, the traditional bills that you paid throughout the pendency of the marriage, you're going to need to continue doing that. It's a good quick strategy, and every case is different. Maybe there are times where you should cut somebody off financially, or I know for a fact there are times when that happens. But most of the time, you're going to want to maintain the status quo. You can't let the power bill go out or the electricity go out, because imagine if you show up to court and your kids are standing there most of the time and you let the power bill lapse and the power goes out. It looks bad. So what you want to do, again, going back to what we said in the first episode, the person who looks the most reasonable in court generally comes out with the most favorable outcome. If you're pulling plugs like that, then be careful. It could backfire on you.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because it does. Divorce sucks. It's going to get nasty. Keep that stuff out of the courtroom. I'm sure judges hear that stuff all the time. Having sat through a full docket of things, I actually like to get there a little early to watch some other cases. And to hear the petty things that people go to court over is absolutely ridiculous. Yep. It's just a waste of time. And you can tell the judge is like, "What are we doing here? Why did you guys not figure this out before you got here?" So yeah. All right. Keep those emails coming. We got some more we're going to get into in just a few minutes. And one about the discovery process too, which I really want to get into in just a few seconds. Your questions, info@TonyCurryRadio.net, info@TonyCurryRadio.net. You want some free advice? We're not charging you for it. You can get a Matt Butts. He's the man. mbutslaw.com, mbutslaw.net or .com. Check out both, 948-4958. All right. So I just found out that my ex, or my soon-to-be ex, has been putting together a plan. She's been talking to her friends. I'm leaving his ass. I had no clue. And now all of a sudden it's time for me to start protecting what is mine. Where do I need to start looking first? And to what extent do I need to go to protect myself when I'm first getting into divorce? It doesn't look like it's going to be very, very good.
All right. So the first priority is always the children. You want to make sure that you are you are doing the things that a parent should be doing for the children. Lots of times it's easy to let one parent do that, but if you're headed for a divorce, there's things you're going to need to know how to do. If you're not the one who's been doing them primarily, find out who the doctors are, find out who the dentists are, maybe come to some appointments if you can, get more actively involved in school, do things like that, because, and it's not necessarily just to win a case, but it's to be an early adaptation to the new life that you're looking forward to. If we're talking about assets and there's no children at all, I mean, hopefully you have had some, if you have any big assets or big property, you've kept that separate, and that has never been used for the betterment of the marriage, and it's sitting over here so that it can be considered separate property and not considered in a divorce case. However, if it's going to be, you need to start making columns. All right. You need to take the retirement. You need to take the bank accounts. You need to take everything and start making columns. And unless there's good reason, it's generally going to be 50-50. So you need to start prioritizing your assets and understanding that some of them are going away.
Wow. And again, occasionally you're going to see me just kind of like wander off, because I've been through this process, and sometimes it hits the heart. The one thing that I think you just brought up, which was really, really interesting, is a lot of when you're in a marriage, we have roles. Okay. And in my particular case, my wife at the time, she was great at paperwork. She did the insurance stuff. She did the school stuff. She did all the paperwork, all those things that I hated to do. And I would cut the grass. I would change the oil. I would do the maintenance in the house, but I was there for the choir practices and all that stuff. And I'd be the driver, this, that, and the other. And then when you realize that if you're asking for a joint custody, you're going to have these kids a 7-on-7 off, and there's not going to be all the roles that she did. You're now going to be doing, and for her too, right. She's going to have to figure out some things too. But that's where you have to think to yourself, "Wow, I've never really been good at that." Well, it's time to start getting good at it. If you're not good at making dinner, you better start learning how. Because if you want full custody, your kids need to eat. You know what I mean? And that's something where a lot of guys, well, I've never done that before. Well, if that's what you want and you want to be a father in this particular case, and I hate to paint guys in the corner like that because, we always think the women take care of all the paperwork and everything and we just bring home the money and we take care of everything else. It's just not true. So keep that in mind. And I'm so glad you talk about it. I know where you are with child custody and child support. And I know how much I appreciate the fact that you think about your kids first off. What about cell phones? What's admissible? What can possibly go wrong? And then we're going to get into some social media because we got a great social media question. But can you ask for my cell phone? Can you take my cell phone away from me? Okay, talk about that because your cell phone is everything.
First off, there's a saying that I heard a long time ago, and it's really, really true. Never text anything that you wouldn't want blown up on a sheet of paper in court, because I am the guy that blows it up on the sheet of paper and takes it to court. I'm the one. I do it. So you need to be very, very careful about what you text. As far as admissibility of the cell phone, I can ask for your cell phone to be turned over for forensic inspection. I can also ask for a download of all of your Facebook data and Instagram data and go through all the messages that you've sent. We can do all of that. So I would say, live good lives of integrity, but we're all texting things sometimes that we're like, dang, that's probably a better in-person conversation. If you were on the line of whether it would be better said in person as opposed to text, say it in person.
Yeah.
Every time.
I love that.
Because the way that things can be twisted, even if they're not bad. So what I do is lots of times I'll put my hook the phone up to my computer and just pull all of their text messages. I don't look at anything but what I need. Other times when they want to give me screenshots, that's okay if there's only a few. However, you need to make sure that the time and date are in there, because if they're not, I can't. It's harder to get admitted into court because when you ask them when this text was sent, they don't know.
See, and this is relatively new because when text messaging first came out 15, 20 years ago, I was like, I'm not doing that. I just thought it was rude. And now, it's like, why would I text? Why not just pick up the phone and call? Well, I text everybody now because sometimes I don't want to talk to people for 3 or 4 minutes at a time. I could just text them real quick. And I just texted you a few minutes because I don't want to talk to you, but we had a show coming up. I know you're busy. But now, as opposed to he said, she said, well, I can't believe she said, now we have it in writing. I mean, and it really surprises me how often I'll see a case where a man or a woman will text something so egregious and so nasty to another person. And again, does it change the way the judge is going to? I don't know. But if you're really wanting to paint a picture of a character of an individual and say, look how she talks to me, that would be a good place to start, correct?
Absolutely. I just had a trial set a couple of weeks ago where I was going through the text messages and he was calling her a whore, but she was giving it right back to him. And it was like, okay, this is kind of a wash here. I mean, you're both.
A whore wash. Nice. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And also, you got to be careful with those pictures you send. Look, I understand you want to keep the relationship spicy, but understand that nothing's going to be scribbled out when it goes to the attorney. That's called a doctored photo.
Yeah.
We need the original. And so I had a case one time where the wife was doing OnlyFans, making a lot of money, but she wanted some alimony. So I had to show that she could make money and how she was doing it. And most of the time I say, look, just give me the top 3 of those. But I'm telling you, this digital stuff is out of control. People will send anything. They will film themselves doing anything, and they will text anything. And I'm saying it's time to stop. Like, stop. Cut it off.
Thank you very much. And start them young. Start them really, really young. I can't imagine what kids are sending pictures of. So one of the things that was used against me, because I was in social media a lot, and I posted some things that I was always trying to be funny. I'd do anything for a laugh. I was that guy that always, if you weren't going to say it, I would. And that's one of the reasons that I was successful in a lot of different things I did, because I was that guy on the radio, and it was a show, and I was a character, and my image preceded me. But I did come to find out that kind of stuff can come back to bite you in the ass. Big time. So talk about just the social media. I am not on social media now at all, not because of my divorce, but quite frankly, I just saw it for what it is. It's unfortunate because I'm in the business where social media is free, and I do need to promote, Matt Butts, and I do need to promote my other shows, and I can do that through my website. But quite frankly, I just got tired of the look at me thing. I got to the point where I won't even, if I see a woman on Facebook, I'll look up Facebook just to see what she looks like. But if I see that she's posting more than 3 or 4 times a day, I'm out. If you got time to post more than 3 things a day on Facebook, I'm out. I'm not dating you. I'm not going to see you. I don't want the hubbub. And I know the picture you're trying to paint isn't the real picture. I just don't want to do that. So now if my ex would go back to my social media, there would be absolutely nothing the last 4 or 5 years, which I'm totally good with. There's nothing that she needs to know about that I wouldn't post to anyone out in public anyway. But talk about the social media, because I think everyone looks at social media as, hey, look at me, I'm funny, blah, 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 blah. They can come back to bite you in the ass.
It really can. You need to be very, very careful what you put out there. And also, if you're going through a court case, don't post about it. Don't. I mean, because the next time you go to court, guess what's coming up? Print it out on a big sheet of paper. Whatever you posted about court. Judges, I haven't met a judge yet who likes that.
Why? Why would they do that? What? Give me an example.
Okay, so if your ex is someone you really, really hate, and lots of times that's the case, and then you come out of court and they may have won that day in court, or you didn't like something they negotiated, and you start blasting it out there. I mean, look, you've got to maintain some privacy about this. You have to, because like, what if in that moment of emotion, your thinking isn't right? What if you're just basing it entirely off of hurt emotions, and then you come back and that's thrown in your face right in front of the judge, and the judge says, oh, you don't take this court very seriously. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because court is a big, big deal. And it's like the person wearing that robe is worthy of the respect that we give them. And if you try to disrespect them or minimize that process in any way, it's going to be really bad. Also, if you get on Facebook and you're just dogging somebody, like some business, keep to yourself. If you go to the ballpark and somebody hits a home run, post it, man.
Yeah.
Like get all those likes. But if somebody cheated on you, or somebody isn't paying you what you think they should be paying you in child support, that's your business. Keep it your business. Don't post it on the Facebook wall for the whole world to see, because it's not going to be received the same way that you think that it's going to be.
Yeah, and you know what? There are ways for you to get on Facebook or X or Twitter or whatever and actually post to just your people. If you want to just keep it in the family, and you need to sweat it off, and you need to let everyone in your family know what a pain in the, what she is, there is a way where you can actually just write them individually, DM them. But as far as in putting stuff out there for the world to see, knock it off. The way I look at it, I didn't want to give any ammo, but it's still out there. It is.
And you don't know who's going to get mad at you between now and then, and to get back at you, go hand some screenshots to her, because we get people all the time saying, look, you can't know where this came from, but here you go.
Yeah.
And it's people you would never think. So you just have to be very, very careful and play a lot more close to the chest.
How has social media played out in your line of business? Has it just absolutely blown it up, or has it changed it dramatically? How has social media? Because I mean, that's probably one of the first things you're looking for, right?
Yeah. So as far as my personal social media, I deleted my personal Facebook account. I just cannot have a 24/7 leash all the time.
Sure.
And we've got a business page that's T Matthew Butts PC. My wife runs that.
What is it again?
T Matthew Butts PC.
Okay. Make sure people know it's out there.
but you know, a lot of my business comes from these Birmingham moms groups. People will get on there, and I've worked with them before, and somebody will ask for a divorce lawyer, and they'll just start saying my name, and like, these are groups I wasn't even allowed in. These are moms groups. So that really, really helped me. It's the new word of mouth. So there is a good end of social media. I mean, that word of mouth has been really, really, really good to us. But as far as doing cases goes, I mean, we're going to do a public record search on every opposing party, every one of them. And part of that is, hey, what's out there on Facebook? I mean, we look several different places, but Facebook's somewhere we go. And if we don't see enough, lots of times we're going to ask for that data to be brought over if we're suspecting something such as an adultery or anything that may have been communicated on Facebook. It's amazing what you'll find in there.
Since you brought it up, adultery, how often does that play into divorces? I know that some people would say that's a really dumb question, but not really, because it seems like everyone cheats on everyone. But if someone's cheating on you, how often does that play into granting a divorce, and how often does that? And the other thing is, I think is really interesting is, say you are in a separation, but you're still legally married, and that person is cheating on you. How often does that play into it?
I mean, look, the rule is you're married until you're divorced, right? Until that final order comes out. You shouldn't be dating. Now, does that happen? It does. I don't condone it. It happens because you live in separate houses, even and when there's no kids, it's even more prevalent. But it's really incumbent upon you, if you know that you're headed to a litigated case, to have as clean a hands as possible, and that's where I try to get people. But I mean, adultery in and of itself can affect a property division. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's not something, if it's affected the kids, then it's certainly going to have more of a deciding factor in the case, but it's not going to be the home run lots of times that people want it to be.
Yeah, particularly if she can prove you're doing it to her too.
Oh yeah. If it's both ways,
you better make sure you better, because I've seen some people. Usually, the person that's the accuser are the ones that should probably be accused. Whenever I've had females in the past always accuse me of cheating, is because they were cheating on me first. Thank goodness that
guilty conscience, man.
Exactly. Yeah. mbutslaw.net, mbutslaw.net, 948-4958, info@TonyCurryRadio.net, info@TonyCurryRadio.net. Chancey in Birmingham wants to know, how often do divorce cases go to court? So that's a good question. A lot of times you get together and then you find out how expensive it's going to be after everyone's done throwing things at each other. Sometimes you can find some common ground. I realize that I've been in a court of law many times where the judge says, listen, you guys need to figure this out on your own, because I got news for you. Neither one of you are going to like what I've got to say about this thing, because they don't want to go for it. So how important is it to try to solve the case before you actually have to go to court? And how often does it go to court?
It is insanely important to, if you don't have to go to court, don't. It's just going to be a whole lot more money. I mean, if you got to go, you got to go. And I have to go a lot more on temporary hearings than I do on trials, although I do try cases and those do go, but most of the time those will settle. But so say that the husband moved out and he's not paying any child support, and the mom's taking care of the 3 kids, and he just will not come off any money. Okay, well, we need an order prior to the final order to put Band-Aids on bullet wounds, and that's what we do when we come in for what's called a pendente light relief motion. And we'll have that hearing, and most of the time that'll settle there, but we'll be at the courthouse when it does. And then nothing there is going to prejudice a final order. However, you can learn a lot about your case while you're there, especially if you can have a conversation with a judge or put on a hearing in front of a judge, and you find out really quick what this judge thinks about these issues if you don't know already, and then you can settle the case. So we go on a lot of temporary hearings, a whole lot of them. But as
and what is a temporary hearing? What exactly does that mean?
Okay, so that means that, say a complaint for divorce is filed, and then this thing's not going to get set for trial for a long time. Mm-hmm. I say a long time. They're moving it pretty well, but you may look at a year and a half. But say this wife needs child support right now. We file a motion for pendente light relief, and we go in on a hearing, and we can put Band-Aids on bullet wounds, things like child support, maybe even temporary alimony, status quo, exclusive use and occupancy of the home, who gets what vehicle right now, because these are things that need to be decided before a final hearing, although that can be all undone at a final hearing.
Gotcha.
This is just to put out the dumpster fire.
Great stuff. mbutslaw.net, mbutslaw.net, 948-4958, 948-4958. Another question here from Libby. She was asking the question, we kind of got into this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to get a little deeper into it. How significant is social media in the discovery process? Talk a little bit about what the discovery process is. I hated it. I had to go through it because, again, I'm not a paper guy. I don't keep track of things. Most guys don't. But the discovery process is basically, okay, you've been married for 17 years. I need to know everything that happened in your relationship the last 17 years. And that goes for numbers, that goes for addresses, that goes for all those things. Can you talk a little bit about that and how important it is to, live right. Live right. I mean, if you're in a 17-year relationship and it just fell apart the last couple of years, death by 1,000 cuts, you shouldn't have to come up with too much to the discovery process. If you're not hiding money, you're probably in a pretty good shape there, but just talk about that a little bit.
So discovery takes a couple different forms, or a few different forms. It can, primarily what we do is I will send what's called interrogatories, which is no more than 40 questions to be answered in writing under oath. Then request for production of documents, where I'm asking for bank records, I'm asking for physical documents, things like that. There's also requests for admissions, where a question is asked, admit or deny this, and you pick admit or you pick deny or you object to it. There's also depositions that you
What
can
would
sit
be an
through.
admit or deny question?
Admit or deny that you have had sexual relations with a third party who is not your wife during the pendency of the marriage.
Gotcha.
Or during the duration of the marriage.
Gotcha.
And I'm telling you, man, gathering those documents is a pain. People hate it. I hate it. Like,
It's the worst.
But I mean, it's necessary lots of times. And then sometimes whenever they don't give you your discovery stuff, you can subpoena these things. But you have 30 days from the day you're served to respond. Now, there's some wiggle room there, but what comes next is a motion to compel if you don't hand it over, and the judge is going to enter an order saying, yes, you're going to hand this over within 14 days. If you don't hand it over within 14 days, the other side is going to file a motion for sanctions, and then you can get tagged at like $100 a day until you do it.
Oh.
So that's why you really, really need to get jumping on the discovery process early if you're going to do it. Now, if somebody comes in here and they have everything settled, they know what they want to do, I'm not filing discovery requests, man. All that's going to be is an unnecessary expense.
Yeah.
But when we're going to trial or things are getting heavy and it's a heavy financial case and there's all sorts of stuff that I need to know, I'm filing those discovery requests, and we just got to do it.
I've got like 17,000 million questions, but we're running out of time, and that's why we do the show every single week. You can check it out on Tony Kurre Radio. It's available on every major podcast industry out there, everywhere. We're live, of course, on the YouTube channel. We do X as well as our Facebook pages, and of course, you can get in touch with Matt. He's the best. You talked about word of mouth. There's a reason why you do your thing, man, because people really like you, and I'm certainly very, very happy to have you on my network of radio stations. mbutslaw.net, 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 948-4958. Check him out. He's fantastic. He does a great job, and I'm happy to have him here on the radio station. Info at TonyKurreRadio.net, info at TonyKurreRadio.net. We have probably about 15 more questions. Keep those questions coming. You're getting free advice here, and we'll do it again coming up next week. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tony. I enjoy doing this.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.